Assalamu alaikum. This is me, Dr. Saifullah, and I welcome you to this new video about financial modeling. In this video, we will talk about time value of money, that is an important topic in finance and financial modeling. In earlier video, lecture 7, we have talked about the different concepts of present value by using Microsoft Excel. The link of that video is shown in the upper right corner of your screen as well as placed in the description of this video. In this video, we will talk about the future value. We will be calculating future value of lump sum amount, future value of annuity, ordinary and due annuity, future value of growing annuity. Firstly, we will calculate all the things manually, and later on we will use Microsoft Excel functions to calculate the future values. Future value is the value of current assets at a future date based on an assumed rate of growth. The future value is important to investors and financial planners as they use it to estimate how much an investment made today will be worth in future. Future value of lump sum amount. A lump sum payment is a monetary sum paid in one single payment instead of allocated into installments. The future value of lump sum amount is computed by using this formula. Future value is equal to present value into 1 plus interest rate raised to power GS. Let's suppose a sum of 30,000 is invested at an annual rate of interest of 10% compounded annually. What is the value of investment at the end of 6 years, that is 6 years after making the investment? So the interest rate is 10%. We have 6 years number of periods. Periodic payments, there are 0 as there is no periodic payments. The present value is 30,000 that is invested today, and compounding frequency is yearly, and we have to calculate the future value of this lump sum amount if payments are made at the end of the period and if the payments are made at the start of the period. Firstly, we will compute the future value by using the formula, and that is equal to present value, that is 30,000, 1 plus interest rate and raised to power n. The future value will be computed, that is 53,146.8. But instead of applying this formula, we can compute this by using Microsoft Excel function, and we have future value function to compute the future value of lump sum amount, that is equal to future value, start the parenthesis, rate is 10%, NPER number of payments, that is 6, the payments amount 0, the present value is 30,000, and 0 if the payments are made at the end of the period, and 1 if the payments are made at the start of the period. So firstly, we are computed where payments are made at the end of the period, so we will press 0, close the parenthesis and press enter. So the future value of this amount will be computed. Before applying this formula, we will press minus sign to bring this sign into positive, that is the future value is 53,146.83. If we have made this payment at the start of the period, then the future value will be minus future value, start the parenthesis, rate 10%, NPER number of payments, that is 6, payments 0, present value 30,000, and 1 if the payments are made at the start of the year, close the parenthesis, press enter. So the future value will be computed. In this example, we are making no periodic payments, so it will have no effect on the formula. So the future value in this case will be 53,146.83. The next example is about annuity. An annuity is a series of payments made at an equal intervals. Examples of annuities are regular deposits to a saving accounts, monthly home mortgage payments, monthly insurance payments, pension payments, and so on. Annuities are of two types, ordinary annuity and due annuity. In ordinary annuity, payments are made at the end of the period, and in due annuity, the payments are made at the start of the period. So let's solve the future value of annuity by using Microsoft Excel. This is the formula that we can use to calculate the future value of the ordinary annuity. that is equal to cash flow into 1 plus I raised to power n minus 1 divided by interest rate. So the example is the CFO of a company invests $10,000 at the end of each year into a sinking fund to accumulate capital for new equipment that will be purchased at the end of 5 years. The money invested will earn interest at a 5% annual rate. How much will be available in the sinking fund at the end of 5 years? Annual rate of interest is 5%. Number of years are 5. Periodic payment 10,000. Present value is 0. Compounding frequency yearly. And payments are made at the end of year, so 0. And we have to calculate the future value of this annuity by using this formula equal to cash flow multiply by start the parenthesis 1 plus interest rate raised to power n close the parenthesis minus 1 close the parenthesis divided by interest rate and press enter. The future value will be computed, that is 55,256.31. Instead of applying this formula, we can use Microsoft Excel function to compute the future value of this annuity. To do so, equal to minus future value start the parenthesis rate 5%, NTER 5, comma payments are 10,000, comma present value is 0, comma and 0 as the payments are made at the end of the year, close the parenthesis, press enter. So the future value is computed. If payments are made at the beginning of the year, we will just change this 0 by 1 and the future value of due annuity will be computed, that is 58,019.13. So this was about the future value of ordinary and due annuity. We can also have a growing annuity. A growing annuity is a series of payments made at regular intervals and increasing at a steady rate. It is also known as the increasing annuity. The future value of growing annuity is the amount of money an individual receives after a series of payments that increase in amount. In this instance, each payment grows at a constant rate. There are two different kinds of increasing annuity: ordinary growing annuity and due growing annuity. In an ordinary growing annuity, payments are made at the end of each year. In contrast, payments are made at the beginning of each year for a growing annuity due. Unfortunately, as per my knowledge, Microsoft Excel has no built-in function to calculate the future value of growing annuity. However, we can compute it by writing a formula. This is a formula that we can use to calculate the future value of growing annuity, that is equal to cash flow into 1 plus I raised to power n minus 1 plus growth rate raised to power n divided by I minus G. And let's have a look at an example. The CFO of a company invests $10,000 at the end of each year into a sinking fund account to accumulate capital for new equipment that will be purchased at the end of 5 years. The money invested will earn interest rate at 5% annual rate. How much will be available in the sinking fund at the end of 5 years? So annual rate of interest is 5%, number of years 5, payments are 10,000, growth in periodic payment G, that is 10%, present value is 0, yearly payments are made, and 0 as the payment is made at the end of the period. So future value of this growing annuity is equal to cash flow, that is 10,000 multiply by start the parenthesis 1 plus interest rate raised to power n close the parenthesis minus 1 plus growth rate close the parenthesis rate raised to power n close the parenthesis divided by I interest rate, that is 5% minus 10% close the parenthesis and press enter, that is 66,845.688. that is the future value of the growing annuity. In case of future value of growing DU annuity, we will simply multiply the answer of future value of growing ordinary annuity multiply by 1 plus I. So the future value of growing DU annuity will be computed, equal to cash flow, that is 10,000, multiply by start the parenthesis 1 plus interest rate, multiply by start the parenthesis 1 plus I raised to power n, close the parenthesis, minus 1 plus growth rate, close the parenthesis, raised to power n, close the parenthesis, divided by I minus growth, close the parenthesis, press enter. So the future value of growing DU annuity is computed, that is 70,187.972. You may encounter a situation in which the interest rate and the growth rate are both same. In this instance, the above calculation will fail and you will receive an error. The solution is to use the following formula to compute the future value of annuity without the growth rate. This will be the formula to calculate the future value of growing ordinary annuity: cash flow into n into 1 plus I raised to power n minus 1. So let's have an example. The CFO of a company invests $10,000 at the end of each year into a sinking fund to accumulate capital for new equipment that will be purchased at the end of 5 years. Keeping in mind the effect of inflation, the amount deposited will be increased by 10% per year. The money invested will earn interest at 10% annual rate. How much will be available in the sinking fund at the end of 5 years? So annual rate of interest is 10%, number of years 5, periodic payment 10,000, growth rate is 10%, present value is 0, compounding frequency yearly, and payments are made at the end of the period, so 0, and we have to calculate the future value. In this example, the interest rate and the growth rate are both same. So our formula will be equal to cash flow into n number of years into 1 plus I raised to power n minus 1. N is 5 minus 1 and press enter. So the answer will be computed, that is 73,205 will be the future value of growing annuity in case interest rate and growth rate are both same. This is the future value of growing ordinary annuity in case interest rate and growth rate are same. We may have an example where we have to calculate the future value of growing DU annuity if interest rate and growth rate are same. So in this situation, this formula will be used. Future value of growing DU annuity is equal to cash flow into n into 1 plus I into 1 plus I raised to power n minus 1, and the example is the same, just the payments are made at the start of the year and we have to calculate the future value, equal to cash flow, that is 10,000, multiply by n, multiply by 1 plus interest rate, that is 10%, multiply by 1 plus interest rate raised to power n minus 1, and the answer is computed, that is 80,525.5. So in this way we can calculate the future value of lump sum amount, future value of annuity, and future value of growing annuity. In the next video we will talk about how we can compute interest rate as well as number of years. If you have any question about finance or financial modeling, you can contact us. You can contact us through the WhatsApp or write in the comment section of this video. We will try our best to provide you best answers. Thank you. Take care. Allah Hafiz.